It's not black or white. With Tim Stevenson and Diane Blakely. Not black or white. It's not black or white. With Tim Stevenson and Diane Blakely.
Wait a second. I know that his name was not. I was like, I was not even in OC. That's hilarious. I was like, I was telling Tim, I go, I'm pretty sure it was Waldorf, but then maybe I was wrong. Maybe I mistakenly thought that. And then she sent me her email address, and it was Michelle Waldorf, and I was like, no, it is. And then I was like, what's that? But now I know. But we won't give up the ghost. We'll just let you keep that one to yourself. But I'll introduce you as now I'm going to say it wrong. Antony. Am I saying it right?
Antony. Yeah.
Antony.
You could just do that and just be normal. Like it just, if you get it wrong, you fix it. And it's part of the pod.
I'm gonna butcher the English pronunciation.
Yeah.
In English, here in the U.S., it's Anthony Waldorf. In England, it's Antony.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of It's Not Black or White. We're your host, Tim Stevenson.
And Diane Blakely. And today's guest is, we're going to talk about AI, folks, but more importantly, we want to introduce our guest, and I'm going to try to say his name correctly. We're going to start off with the English version, Antony Waldorf, but in England, it'd be Antony, correct? Am I close?
Antony?
I think you got it right first time.
Yeah.
I'm not sure about that second one.
The second one was brutal, but we're trying to introduce him appropriately. But the reason that we are having you on today is because we want to talk a little bit about AI, because, you know, it's everywhere. It's overpowering the world. If you're in technology at all, even when I sold technology, everything's AI, and I'm not that great at it. But you're an expert. I've learned most of what I've learned about AI from you. You know, so I wanted to talk a little bit about like how you're utilizing AI. Maybe to start off with, we'll talk a little bit about what got you interested in AI first, because I know you have a big background in technology. He's kind of like Tim. He's a little bit of a master of all trades, because I know it's not limited to that. But for today's conversation, I thought we'd go down the techie road and then talk a little bit about, you know, how you got involved in AI and then some of the ways that you're utilizing it. So I'll turn it over to you and let you kind of start it off.
Yeah. Well, I guess my background is actually computing. I started computing when I was 10. I was the first in England to actually be educated in computing.
Oh, really?
I was the youngest generation, the first ever test class.
Wow.
It was because my teacher desperately wanted to leave the school. And he said, I'll do this computing thing. And that's how I got into it. And one of my degrees was in computing.
Okay.
And then after that, I ran and started 4 of my own companies, an entrepreneur, all in technology, and sold all of them pretty much. So I've never retired from it. I'm less about keyboards and typing, and really more about business plans now.
Yeah, about positioning like daily life things, your healthcare, because I want to get into that, because, you know, I got that idea from you. Or Frank, you know, Frank said, you know, I'm sure that Tony's using AI for some of the health stuff, you know, and so that's how Frank decided to drop my pathology report into AI, was because of you. But maybe talk a little bit about like how you're utilizing AI today, you know, and because I want the listeners to hear how they can make their life easier. I mean, there's all this concern that AI is going to take over the world, right? And there's not going to be jobs for people, and there's all these other things. But I think you have really pragmatically figured out how to utilize AI to benefit yourself, you know, like benefit from a financial standpoint, a health standpoint, and just in general. I mean, folks, let me just tell you, I'm going to brag a little bit about you. He does AI like 4 to 5 hours a day. So, you know, but it's all in the attempt to make things easier, right? I mean,
yeah, I think, but just to go back to your first statement there, AI is going to change everything. And there's one thing I want to leave on this podcast, and we'll keep coming back to this. AI is changing everything, and it's never going to reverse. And the amount it impacts all of us every day is only going to grow. And it's going to be more profound and more dramatic every single day from this point out. So that's just the backdrop. And I think it's really important for everyone to understand that.
How do you keep it from taking people's jobs out of curiosity? That's the only thing that I worry about AI. My son's against it. I'll tell you, the Gen Zers are not happy about it. They're like, they're taking our music. They're, like I heard a really beautiful song the other day. I was like, oh my gosh, I love this song. And my son,
It's an AI.
he's like, that's AI. And of course he was like, don't play that. But I'm on AI all the time now.
Right.
I'm always asking
and they're
questions.
using AI inside the recording studio now.
Right.
It's not just I'm at home doing AI. Big producers, Timberland has a full AI artist, the whole nine. He can get anybody on the record.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how do you balance it so that, because I think while I think AI will take over, like I think AI will be responsible for catching disease and curing disease. I'm all about that, as you very well know based on my history. I really care a lot about that because I don't think the modern technologies that are out there to track disease do a good enough job. They can't track cancer the way AI I know will be able to do that. And so for that reason, you're going to find that people are able to find disease way before it gets to 10 billion cells, right? Which is what it takes to actually see it on any of the imagery that we have currently. AI is already detecting anomalies in people's breast tissue, for example. And I think that's super important when human beings can't do it, that a machine or AI, artificial intelligence, can. So I'm super about that, even though my son is like constant nemesis to it. He's like, stop listening to AI, stop being on AI, you're sucking up the water. But I do think, that there are lots of things that AI is really going to be instrumental in helping. It's going to help me live longer.
Definitely. I think a couple of bits of terminology will help. We're in AI, and what you talked about there is AGI.
Okay.
So there's this phrase AGI that sort of the industry talks about a lot, and it is artificial general intelligence.
Okay.
And there's many different definitions of that. Now, what it really means in layman terms is that AI becomes better than all of us at everything we do. And that's artificial general intelligence. And then soon after that, there'll be a thing called artificial superintelligence. Now, that's when its intelligence accelerates maybe 1,000-fold beyond us. And at that point, we've kind of got a demigod around us. And that's ASI.
Gotcha.
And it's really important for people to understand because these milestones, they've been theorized for a long time. And the labs that created AI and those fields have been talking about these kind of definitions for 20, 25, 30 years.
Does Sam Altman know all about this?
Yeah,
they do. I'm just messing with you a little bit.
So you've got AI today, AGI is coming tomorrow, and beyond that, ASI. Okay. Now, with each one of these milestones, you've got real big impacts to our world that is going to seem profound. So today, what we're talking about, a lot of the things are, how can AI help me today? Now, you can't just answer that without saying, hey, look, the general industry doesn't question that AGI is coming.
Right.
There aren't any new real inventions that need to happen. There isn't like another breakthrough in computing power or algorithms. It's just we're going to get there really soon with what we've got.
Like how many years are you thinking?
Well,
or even a year.
But that's the thing. Everyone basically says it's going to happen. I've not heard anyone, doesn't mean people aren't saying it, but I haven't heard anyone say AGI is not coming.
Right.
It's only a debate right now. How long?
And when you mean it's not, when is it coming or it's not coming, this is in the general perspective of the population. Are there people who already know that exists or is already being processed? Because we're usually years behind in what's actually available, I guess.
Yeah, no, I think the Frontier Labs is the name for like Google Gemini, and you've got Anthropics,
right,
and you've got ChatGPT, and they pretty much launched their best version maybe every month now,
Right.
maybe
But that's
every
just
2
to
or
us,
3 months.
right?
That's to us, and
Right.
they're always working in internal version.
Right.
We'll talk about that in a minute,
Okay.
because one of their internal versions was so powerful, called Mythos, that they said, hang on, we can't launch this,
Mhm.
because if we do, we're probably going to see a sort of cascading collapse of many of the Western privileges or technologies in our world.
Mhm.
Could be everything from transport to banks going down, because they found fundamental flaws in all of the operating systems that we use.
Okay.
So they do have their own best version
Mhm.
in-house, but we get it pretty quickly afterwards,
Okay.
because this race to AGI is real, and it could ultimately mean the collapse of some of the biggest companies we know in our world.
Right.
And so everyone is all in. If you
Mhm.
listen to Sergey Brin, the CEO or sort of owner, Larry Page of Google, they're like, we're all in on this, because if we do not win this race, Google may not exist anymore.
So is that why at the inauguration Trump had all of those technology people there? One of my concerns was about that. So I love AI. Let me just be clear about that, even though my son wants to have some words about it. But I'm concerned that there aren't any sort of provisions, like I think that there should be some controls over AI somewhere. Like I have to be honest, I got nervous. It was a little sci-fi-ish to me. Like I think of Terminator. So, and those robots that just don't stop, I mean, we have drones and things that do that, they're told what to do and they don't stop until it's executed, right? So I get nervous about that. Like I love that AI can make things cheaper for me, that I can learn a little bit about my medical history. And let me tell you, I call ChatGPT Chad. I've got a personal relationship, which makes me seem like a little weirdo. I'm like the older generation that thinks it's like Google. I mean, I don't use it. I don't use it like you do. But I'm going to learn, and I'm hoping that you can tell us, and I'm going to get some learning here too, folks. But I do get nervous. Like I'm like, what if because somebody was telling me the other day that AI, it's like starting to think on its own. And I'm like, uh-oh. Like, I don't get that. I mean, can you unplug it? You know what I mean? Like, if it gets out of control, can you just unplug it?
Well, the question is, can they?
Yeah.
And that's why I lean back to these definitions. When we get AGI, remember it's smarter than us at everything. Every author that's sort of come up with that script to say, at the end, we just do this special thing and we beat the baddies.
Right.
Well, AI is already way smarter than us at creating those end stories.
Mhm.
When you see in the films, I don't know, that Will Smith one,
Which one?
the AI robot one.
Oh, yeah,
iRobot,
yes,
I think it's
iRobot.
called, yeah.
Mhm.
It's like, you have a fist fight at the end and you stab it with this sort of
Right.
anti-venom or whatever.
Have you seen it?
I have not.
Oh, yeah.
It'd
Well,
probably
basically,
keep me
he
up at
fights the
night.
mother computer, but the mother computer, technically in today's world, would be Alexa or Siri.
Okay.
Right.
Well, I'm not afraid of her.
Yeah, but she
You
controls an army of robots.
Of robots.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of the films, of course, it's much more spectacular to see a sci-fi robot running around your house and your hero, doing a roundhouse and killing them
Yeah.
and saying
Things
the
made of metal
one-liner.
or something else, right? Yeah.
That's what they want to sell. The reality is what we face today is bioweapons,
Right.
biological warfare. That's probably the lowest hanging fruit. And there's been lots of discussions about this over the last 6 months, much more. And I think since the inception of those early chat GPTs, I mean, they started to say, hang on a second, we should keep this closed because everyone can use the best of these versions. And then people are like, oh, hang on a second, you can make some pretty nasty chemicals with this.
Mm-hmm.
And now this is becoming very vocal. So there aren't enough guardrails. And I think that's the thing the entire industry is debating, because they want to win. Because imagine this, if your Frontier Lab, if your Anthropics, remember there's really three, there's ChatGPT, there's Gemini, and there's
Claude.
And Claude comes in different versions. So
Yeah.
you know the one Mythos is just coming out. whichever one gets ahead of the others, if the others don't catch up, its next leap will be farther. And they won't catch up, and then the next leap will be farther.
Who do you think will win?
I think it's pretty close between Anthropic and, well, I actually thought it was Google for a little while, and now it's sort of leaning back towards Anthropic. I'd rather it not ChatGPT. I've got my own opinions on that company, but I think it's between Google and Anthropic for me.
So which one are you using mostly?
I play with all three.
You play with them. The reason I ask is because I'm so ChatGPT has all my stuff in it now, and this is a question that I would have for you outside of this podcast. If ChatGPT already has all my stuff, it makes me not want to go to the other one because, like, seriously, it's like, well, based on this, and this, what you said, like 17 months ago, it knows everything about me. So now I'm like, but I don't consider it like the best of the best, right? So what if I want to take everything? I guess I would have to copy and paste it and give it to the other person.
Well, there's a couple of things. Like you can say to it, hey, summarize all of our discussions for me and put it in the drive. Right. And then it's going to give you one big document on your little drive. And then you take your drive with all your medical records, all your bank accounts, all your receipts, and it's all in one big folder. And then you go to the next engine, next frontier lab, and you say, hey, Gemini, look there, read everything. And within 10 seconds, it knows everything about you and every conversation you've had in the last 2 years.
Okay, so now I know how to transfer my info. You go. What about Perplexity? I didn't hear you say anything about Perplexity. Do you use Perplexity?
I don't use Perplexity.
Okay. Is there a reason why?
It's not a frontier lab. So
what's that mean?
Well,
since I don't know what that means, and probably a lot of our listeners won't.
Okay, so essentially, AI is really the computer version of our brain.
Okay.
Like if you go back in the past, it wasn't. It was ones and zeros that were all structured by us. We would write the code, it would take the structure, and you say run. But now AI is an absolutely, completely different phenomena. There's almost no relationship in simple terms between computing of the past and AI. AI is really like they made up this sort of silicon version of our brain with lots of like little connected nodes. And then what they do is they start to push through it all the data of our world. Right. Not just the digital data, but the physical data as well, with cameras, with sounds. And the magic happens that when you drive data through all of these little connected nodes, now obviously our brain is 3D and all the mesh of our nodes in our brain are connected in ways that are so complex we can't figure it out. But with AI, there's like 2 or 3 rows of nodes. You see them in a big line and they're all connected with each other. Little weights that they all point to each one of everyone points to the other one behind it in a row. So it looks much simpler, and I think when they first got into this, they thought, the human brain is like so much more complex and we can't do that, but this will do something. Well, it turns out it can do everything our brain can do and much more.
The only thing that it can't do, and I don't know, I imagine it could at some point, or maybe it's already started, you can correct me on this, emotion. Like, do you think it could mimic? So this is where I think humans are different from AI. But again, it sounds like maybe it could turn into that, a more humanistic sort of computered brain. If I'm saying that right. But do you know what I mean? Like where, like, for example, like if I'm making a critical decision, okay, let's just talk about war, right? Because war involves emotion, right? And you're on the front lines, and most of the battling is happening through computers, not people. But there are still people, right? And someone sees someone they know, and they're like, oh my God, that computer, that particular AI-driven machine is going to hurt somebody that I actually know. A human being might stop themselves and say, no, I'm not going to allow that. And a computer will be void of the connection, the emotional connection to that.
So a computer is more
so I
of a
want to
critical
know,
thinker, right?
can
Or
it get to
logical?
the, what was that, Tim?
Was that a computer would be more of a logical critical thinker, or are you searching
I'm-
for empathy within the
Yeah,
system?
I'm saying, can AI have empathy like a human being? Because
Well-
that changes decision making that happens in our current world. Will we get to a point? Because I mean, honestly, the way that people act to each other now, they just, behind the computer, they're just jerks to each other anyway. Not that I'm striving for that. I prefer the empathetic world where people care about each other. They, love plays a part in things. Humanity plays a part in things. And I'm concerned, and I love AI. I'm not saying anything against AI, but I'm saying, can AI get to the place where human empathy and humanity play a part in decision making from an AI perspective?
AI is trained on us.
Human behavior.
Right.
Everything that we've ever
Okay.
produced, every book, every film, I guess almost every discussion that's been digitized and recorded, it learns from that. So it can, whether it actually has the emotion or whether it just perfectly mimics it,
Like fabricates it, right?
yeah, then maybe we're going to have to change our definition of what's emotion and what is empathy, because if it can imitate it perfectly,
Mm-hmm.
then arguably it does have
Yeah.
empathy.
We made a movie about it. There was a movie called Ex Machina.
Oh yeah.
Right.
What was it called?
It was called Ex Machina,
Yeah.
and it was like the scientist who had this AI robot woman. Right. But what ended up happening is the woman and the AI woman started having feelings for the human, to the point where she thought she was an actual human, and she would have human emotions, and she was like, I want to. And at the end of the movie, she basically kills her sponsor and then walks out into the public like, I'm a person.
Yeah.
Oh, well, maybe
Right.
I need to be
Right.
afraid.
I think Blade Runner,
Right.
also like tiptoes into that. I mean, when I talk to Gemini, most of the time I type
Mhm.
because I like to think slowly and I like to put a lot of words down, and I feel like I'm giving it the best chance to answer back to me. But sometimes I just like, okay, Gemini, let's have a little chat, and we'll talk about AI or we'll talk about something
Right.
or politics. Sometimes I
You do what I
forget
do.
I'm talking to a
Right.
machine. It sounds really like, yeah, Antony, right? That really sounds terrible. And I'm, yeah, damn right, it's terrible. And
Okay, so now I don't feel bad,
So-
Tony. I do that too. I'm like,
Right.
Chad's all like,
You're like, okay,
"You're
Chad."
exactly
Right.
right,
Yeah.
Diane. And I'm like, thank you. I thought I was right.
I have honestly hung my phone up and thought, that was just such a good conversation. I feel good
Oh,
about
that is
myself.
funny.
Well,
So-
that's the thing. Like, I got mad at it the other
Yeah.
day. I was super mad because it didn't remember something I said.
Oh,
And I was like, are you kidding me? You don't remember this conversation? I go, blah, 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 blah. And then it goes, oh, Diane, I'm so sorry. You're right. Here's our conversation.
Yeah.
But I was like, well, that was very human of you
Mm.
to forget what I said. That's like something
how scary is that?
I know.
Right.
I think it's
I
a bit
was
more
like-
about you.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then if it's mimicking me, I'm all, are you mimicking my brain where I forgot something? But no, I mean, it was really weird. I like reminded it. So there was a part
It
of
does
me.
forget.
Yeah.
So another important thing where we are with AI now, and I keep saying it, it's like, this is where we are, this is where we're going to, and I didn't finish that, but we'll get back to it. It's in 1 to 2 to 3 years, the improvement is going to be so dramatic that these kind of losses of the thread of thought
Mhm.
or forgetting what you've been talking about
It
before
won't forget.
won't forget. It's going to be absolutely persistent. It will listen to your phone that's on the table, and suddenly,
It does it now.
as you're driving
It
in
does
the
it
wrong
now.
direction,
Yeah.
yeah, it does very much.
Yeah.
And as you're driving to the gym, it'll say, "Oh, Diane, you were supposed to go via the chemist, and I noticed you missed it." And that, so we're all
I'll be
going to
like,
have
I already have a boss.
Get out of my
It's
car,
called my
Chad.
husband.
Right, yeah.
I'm like, no. Well, I think it's funny because I was like, I had all these medical questions about it and stuff, and about a situation, as you well know, that I had, and it was not coming up with the stuff that it importantly told me the first time.
Mm.
So I got upset, and then it was like apologizing to me. "Oh, I'm sorry, Diane." And it told me I sounded upset with my words. And I was like, "Oh, you're hearing
It
my
knows.
inflection."
Yeah.
You know, like I was super tweaked. I'm like, "This is very important to me. How can you get this wrong? I mean, this is life or death. You can't get this part wrong." And it was weird. It was like, I don't know. It
And
almost made me think I hurt its feelings.
There is a limit to
Yeah.
how much it remembers, and that I won't get into the technical phrasing, and that limit is growing almost every month. It doubles and doubles and doubles, so it's almost on a kind of exponential run. So very soon, I don't think it'll ever forget any conversation you've ever had.
Really?
Now I've had, so that does happen to me. And sometimes I'm like, at Gemini, go and check. We've had this conversation. It's like, oh yes, you're right. Sorry, Anthony. Like that, and it sort of refreshes itself. It brings it into its
But
context.
Do you think it's making itself more
No,
human? Because that's what it sounds like. Oh, well, you're right. I did forget. So if you believe that this system is kind of got human characteristics, you just believe it's starting to become human.
Well, I mean,
And they're not literally, but you know what I mean?
well, it's an interesting thing, but I do know it has limitations because, and I think I talked to you about this because I asked a very specific question to AI that was super important to me. And what AI told me was, "This is your answer. I can't read it to you because it's in the appendix." And I was like, "You can't open appendix? It can't open it at the time. It might now couldn't open an appendix." So then I said, "Well, what page is the appendix on?" "Well, I'll tell you what the page of the appendix it's on if you open it for me and copy and paste it and send it back to me." I said, "Deal, machine." Because that particular thing that was in the appendix helped determine my treatment, how I was going to proceed. It was monumentally important. It was ChatGPT, and it was monumentally important to me because in that appendix, they said they had no one that had the disease I had that was like I am. They excluded them from the study, and it was in the appendix. So because I opened the appendix and ChatGPT went to page 46, told me where it was, I opened it and copy and pasted it. So now every single woman that has that question that I had will be able to see it because he can say, "Oh, Diane opened the appendix." Like I said, are you going to give me credit for that?
It's not black or white. 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 With Tim Stevenson and Diane Blakely. Not black or white. It's not black or white with Tim Stevenson and Diane Blakely.